Thank you and welcome to reInvent 2023. Technology is transforming every imaginable industry, and generative AI is at the forefront. It has captured our imaginations for its ability to create images and videos, write stories, and even generate code. As you heard from Adam earlier this week, generative AI is truly an expansive opportunity at every level, across every customer segment. It is going to be fundamental to how the world, businesses, consumers, and everybody in between operates. Now, I get that there is a lot of hype around generative AI. So my goal for today's session is to translate some of that hype into the real impact for how companies are building production-ready architectures that are delivering innovation. We have a lot to cover, so let's dive into how we've gotten to this moment. We've reached a critical tipping point for generative AI. With the massive proliferation of data, highly scalable compute, and the advancement of ML technologies with deep learning model architectures like transformers, vision transformers, and diffusion, generative AI is finally taking shape. In particular, it's these advancements in machine learning that have made generative AI possible just in the last few years. Traditional forms of machine learning, they were good. They allowed us to take very simple inputs like numeric values and map them to very simple outputs like predicted values. With deep learning, we could then take complex inputs like videos and images and then map them to relatively simple outputs. Traditional machine learning is still important and very useful across a variety of workloads. However, traditional machine learning models use architectures that required months of costly and manual data preparation, data labeling, and model training, all to produce a model for one single specific task. With generative AI, we can leverage massive amounts of data to capture and present knowledge in far more advanced ways, now being able to map complex inputs to complex outputs. The large models that power generative AI applications called foundational models or FMs, they're driven by the transformer-based neural net architecture. And it is this architecture that enables models to be pre-trained on the massive amounts of unlabeled data such that they can be used out of the box for a wide variety of generalized tasks. And they can be easily adapted for particular domains or industries with relatively small amounts of data. So how do we interact with these foundation models? Well, the answer is very simple. We use prompts. Prompts are clear, descriptive directions that guide the model to generate exactly what we want. I like to say prompts are the new UI. You can describe what you want the foundation model to generate, what format you actually want the output to be in, and even provide it additional context, like data from your databases or documents, through techniques like retrieval augmented generation, or what many of you this week have heard as RAG. Customers, they are discovering that despite what others might have you believe, and despite the cutting-edge nature, generative AI is increasingly user-friendly, and it's easy to integrate into many of your applications. As customers are building generative AI architectures, there's 5 core design principles that are having real impact. First, many of our customers are finding that generative AI is easier than they thought, with their developers able to get up and running quickly without any specialized ML expertise. Second, you heard this in Swami's keynote earlier, customers want choice. They want greater innovation, they want better experiences, more personalized experiences, and more business impact. Third, your data is your differentiator. Your data cloud strategy is mission critical if you're going to have a generative AI strategy. Fourth, security should always be top priority. We're going to talk a little bit about how you're going to build with security and responsible AI in mind. And fifth, probably my favorite, there's no Gen AI without the cloud. So let's dive in. Building with Gen AI is much easier than all of you think. Our goal is to make sure that you don't actually have to be a machine learning professional to do this, which is why we launched and we built Bedrock. Amazon Bedrock is a fully managed service that offers a choice of high-performing foundational models. With Bedrock, customers can easily build and scale AI applications and using a selection of foundation models by just accessing a single API. No management of infrastructure. Your developers just point and access a single API. We also make it very easy through Bedrock to easily customize your own private model for a specific task by simply pointing to a few labeled data examples in Amazon S3. Bedrock supports RAG, as I mentioned, as a way of then leveraging that data with foundation models to produce customized, high-quality output. Another exciting area for us, Bedrock now has support for agents that are able to actually execute multi-step tasks. And of course, the data that we put into Bedrock, it's encrypted, and your content and data, neither of which are used to improve the actual base models. We also don't share the content and data with third-party providers as well. So when we say it's easy to get up and running and to use generative AI, we mean it. With Amazon Bedrock, we want you to be able to get up and running with just a few lines of code. You just import our SDK, select your model, send your prompt, and then the way I view it is, this is the hello world of generative AI on Bedrock. I might be older than a few of you. We also just announced PartyRock. This is a new website that you can build AI-generated applications. It's a playground that's powered by Bedrock. It's just a fast and fun, very easy way to learn about generative AI and get a sense for how easy it is to start building. Few other things. Another easy way to get started with generative AI on AWS is through Amazon CodeWhisperer. This is our AI coding companion designed for developers. CodeWhisperer generates code recommendations from plain language based on contextual information like your code. And it's super easy to start using. You can have this supported with your favorite IDEs and also, if you prefer, the command line. Now, customers want choice. Let's talk about what that means. We support a variety of different foundation models from AI21 Labs, who you'll hear from today, Anthropic, Cohere, Meta, Stability AI, and of course our own foundational model known as Amazon Titan. Bedrock also provides choice when it comes to the size of these foundation models. This offers a lot more flexibility to get the latency and cost characteristics that you need for your various applications. So for instance, with AI21 Labs, who you'll hear from in a moment, they provide both their Jurassic 2 Mid and ultra-size models through Amazon Bedrock. All of this early success on Amazon Bedrock is built on several years of experience making our open source LLMs available to our customers in Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart. And Jumpstart offers machine learning practitioners more control, more choice, more customization options through services like Amazon SageMaker Studio, the SageMaker SDK, and the SageMaker Console. New models are being added every single day. And with that, I'd now like to invite the co-CEO and co-founder of AI21 Labs to share with all of you how they're pioneering state-of-the-art language models and architecture systems to transform all industries. Everyone, please welcome Ori Goshen to the stage.
Hi everyone, great being here. Thanks for Francesca. I'm super excited to be here. I'm Ori Goshen. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of AI21 Labs. We are a leader in generative AI. We're breaking down the barriers for adoption in the enterprise with our state-of-the-art language models. Our mission is to build reliable and capable AI systems to empower businesses and professionals. Customers combine our models with the organizational data and workflows to build their own AI-based applications. Today, our models are embedded in thousands of applications across industries like retail, financial services, and healthcare and education. But before I start, I'd actually like to make a prediction. 2 years from now, we won't be talking about large language models. Instead, we'll be speaking about AI systems. So today, I'm going to talk about how AI21 is leading the way in this transition into AI systems. AI21 was founded in 2017 to give AI the ability to reason and plan in a reliable manner. The reason we started a company is actually more relevant today than it was back in 2017. Our goal is to bridge the gap between demonstrated capabilities to AI systems that are ready for production deployment. We first trained LLMs to build WordTune, an intelligent reading and writing assistant app. WordTune has reached over 10 million users, in large part due to its accuracy and truthfulness. With WordTune traction, enterprises started asking us how could we embed our LLMs into our own applications. So we launched our APIs. Jurassic models come in two versions, Ultra and Mid. And they're both available on Amazon Bedrock. Ultra is the powerful for more complex tasks, and Mid is the optimal balance between quality and costs. Customers are using Jurassic for text generation, question answering, summarization, and classification. For example, a leading sports retailer uses Jurassic for generating customized product descriptions with their own unique tone, length, and purpose. Earlier, Francesca showed you how easy it is to access our models through Bedrock. To use Jurassic Ultra or Mid models, all you'd have to do is to change the code to use the model ID and your prompt, and that's it, really easy. We also offer our Python SDK for developer convenience. We've learned a lot from our Jurassic models and noticed the most common use cases such as grounded question answering, summarization, rewriting, and so forth. So we decided to focus on these use cases and particularly on 4 characteristics: accuracy, costs, latency, and ease of use. We call them task-specific models. In fact, these models go way beyond LLMs to handle some of the complexities that customers face, such as RAG, input-output validation, and evaluation. You can access the task-specific models through SageMaker Jumpstart, deploying them in your VPC. They're also available on our Studio platform. What are task-specific models? Let's run through one of them. The contextual answers model performs question answering grounded in your organizational data. It's basically a RAG solution so that when users ask a question, answers will be determined according to your knowledge bases, reports, manuals, and playbooks. Our models were designed to support RAG in lead industry benchmark, and they're leading in benchmarks for model accuracy. We built in functionality to validate the answers to ensure accurate, comprehensive, and grounded responses. This is key for minimizing hallucinations and ridiculous mistakes that are common in some of these generative AI models today. We have a saying in the company, no generation without validation. And so the request to the model is simple. Null knowledge in machine learning is needed. You don't need to deal with fine-tuning or even prompt engineering. Just provide the question and the context, and we take care of the rest. For example, if you're an insurance company, your customers can ask questions about their policies and receive a tailored response based on their specific coverage, exclusions, and limitations. We're seeing tremendous customer interest with task-specific models. Customers are excited about the accuracy, improved cost, reduced latency, and ease of use. And since they accept input text rather than prompts, they're easier, they're safer, they're unable to steer away from their defined task. It's perfect for production use cases. Through our close collaboration with customers, we've helped them identify and solve real problems, real business problems using task-specific models. Customer support is basically the backbone of 1-0, a digital-first bank. They needed a chatbot to provide exceptional customer experience, streamline their support operations, and invest more time in human judgment and creativity. Together, we built a chatbot that redefines customer service in the banking industry. Here's how we built the solution with 1-0 with our contextual answers model. The basic flow is that customer inputs their query into the chatbot. Jurassic models then classifies the questions from the query and extract it into a structured object. The system then performs semantic search to identify the most relevant information. This can be done with Amazon Kendra or other vector search engines. The user's question retrieved data are sent to our contextual answer model. The model then generates an answer based on the retrieved data. This is how the model ensures that the answers are actually grounded in customers' banking information and not general knowledge. After the contextual answers model generates its answer, Jurassic LLM rephrases it into a multi-turn response and relays it back to the user. You may ask, why is this architecture preferable to a chat model? And the answer is 1-0 is a financial institution, and for them, explainability is critical. And this architecture actually ensures each step is optimized for their specific needs and can be validated and monitored. AI21 and AWS have a close relationship. Customers can leverage our generative AI capabilities while keeping security and privacy at the forefront. With Amazon Bedrock and SageMaker Jumpstart, companies can easily access our models without leaving their AWS environment or worrying about managing their infrastructure. A variety of models give customers balance and choice across quality, cost, and latency. Together, AWS and AI21 offers large, consistent inference workloads and guaranteed throughput at scale. With the shift of enterprises from experimentation to adoption, we'll see increased demand for reliability. That's the key part. We think the big way to get there is not just by making more capable models, but actually providing purpose-built AI systems around those models. So you're seeing early glimpses of that with our task-specific models. AI will not just be demonstrating impressive skills, but focused on capabilities that provide real solutions for customers and end users. We predict that all-in-one AGI models will actually not be practical in the long run. Organizations will maintain multiple models, siloed by domain. We call those language blades. To learn more about us, visit AI21.com or speak with an AI21 consultant here at re:Invent in our booth 205. I promise you all, just LLMs, no drama. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ori. I love that. Just LLMs, no drama. Thank you and the AI21 Labs team for your continued innovation in LLMs. As you heard from Ori, foundation models can be powerful, out of the box, and truly useful to your organization. However, they need to access the right data sources. As I mentioned earlier, your data is your differentiator. And to ensure that you have relevant, high-quality data to train your own models or customize foundation models for your use cases, you really need a strong data foundation. The cloud has changed the way so many of us do business. The cost of compute and storage has come way down, and as a result, businesses are storing more data than ever before. Most of you in the audience, show of hands, are storing terabytes, if not petabytes of data. And to solve for these challenges, your modern data strategy needs to be able to scale and be flexible enough to address all of the various use cases. And also, it needs to be able to support the projects of the future. Our mental model here at AWS is very simple. We want you to have a comprehensive set of tools for each of your various use cases, and then the ability to easily connect all of your data, and most importantly, the need for end-to-end governance. We offer a broad set of tools to help you support the end-to-end data journey. And the good news is that the investments that many of you have already made in your data services, they are going to serve you very well in generative AI. And despite the vast capabilities and knowledge of foundation models, they do not have up-to-date, private, or specific knowledge about your organization and your customers. Customers want to be able to combine powerful foundation models with their own data. And there are three main approaches for combining your own data with the foundational models. So you could build your own model. It's costly, time-intensive behaviors, but some organizations will choose to do that to scale the unique nature of their private information. And then there's fine-tuning, which you've heard about, allowing you to be able to take larger pre-trained foundation models and tweak it based on your own data, resulting in then a new modified model. The ability to easily customize a pre-trained model through fine-tuning, team, it is a game changer. It's substantially faster. And so when it used to take multiple scientists or practitioners a long time to produce multiple models for different tasks, now you can just use one big model and use this fine-tuning process to accomplish the same goal. Finally, you can use foundation models out of the box with much of their new in-context learning techniques, as I mentioned, such as RAG. And so speaking of RAG, this new approach, it enhances generated responses by dynamically retrieving relevant information from a database or documents. RAG makes the foundation model more knowledgeable about your specific domain and organization, helping you generate more accurate and relevant responses. And because we know what data was used in the prompt, we can cite it in the generated responses, making the output of these models far more transparent. The main way that customers are storing data for RAG is through something that many of you might have heard of called vector embeddings. And vector embeddings, it's just a fancy way of saying that words have to be translated into numbers to capture their meaning and relationships. And so while we as humans can understand the meaning and context of words, computers, of course, only understand numbers. And while vector embeddings aren't necessarily new for machine learning-based applications, their importance in the future is growing rapidly. And this is why we now offer vector embedding support in several of our data services like OpenSearch and PostgreSQL. While foundation models are incredibly powerful and they have a robust understanding of natural language, they still require manual programming to complete complex tasks, like booking a flight or processing an insurance claim. And the reason for that is because out-of-the-box FMs, they're not able to take specific actions to fulfill user requests. And so that's where agents come into play. You can now enable FMs to complete complex tasks with agents. Agents can execute complex business tasks like creating ad campaigns, my favorite, preparing tax filings, that was a joke, and managing your inventory by dynamically calling your company's systems and APIs. Fully managed agents extend the reasoning capabilities of foundational models to be able to break down tasks and create an orchestration plan, and then be able to execute that orchestration plan. Promoting the safe and responsible development of AI is a top priority for AWS. We are committed to taking a people-centric approach that prioritizes education, science, and our customers, and then integrate responsible AI across the end-to-end machine learning lifecycle. which is why yesterday we announced a preview of guardrails for Amazon Bedrock. With guardrails, you can actually implement safeguards to deliver relevant and safe user experiences aligned with your company's policies and principles. Guardrails help you set up topics and content filters to remove undesirable or harmful content from interactions between users and your applications, and this provides an additional level of control on top of the protections that are already built into the FMs. Amazon Bedrock also offers several capabilities to support security and privacy requirements. The service has achieved HIPAA eligibility and GDPR compliance. And with Bedrock, your content is, as I mentioned, is not used to actually improve the base models. And we don't share the data with third-party model providers. Your data in Bedrock is always going to be encrypted in transit and at rest. And you can actually encrypt the data using your own keys. You can use AWS Private Link with Amazon Bedrock to establish private connectivity between FMs and your Amazon VPC without exposing your traffic to the internet. And so with that, I'd now like to invite one of our customers to the stage to share how they're using data securely and responsibly to transform their business. Everyone, please welcome Moses Nascimento, the Chief Technology Officer from Itaú, to the stage.
Hello, thank you. It's such a great pleasure to be here today with you to share a little bit how we architected and designed our data and AI infrastructures in order to bring innovation using AI at scale. My name is Moisés Nascimento, and I've spent most of my career in Brazil and the United States working as an engineer, architect, executive, always working on large-scale solutions by designing, implementing, and tuning transactional systems and analytical workloads. Therefore, when I was invited 5 years ago to move back to Brazil to help to lead Itaú's digital transformation and to modernize its data and analytics platforms, I was amazed with the scale to lead such transformation. Itaú is a 100-year-old organization with over 70 million customers, almost 100,000 employees, and it is the most valuable brand in Latin America. A very interesting data about Itaú is that it has double-digit petabytes of information that can be stored and used in benefit of our customers. And to do that, of course, we first start with the cloud infrastructure. Once the Brazilian Central Bank authorized the use of public cloud for financial institutions, we closed a very good partnership with AWS to evolve our operations, modernizing not only the way we build our infrastructure, but the way we design, build, and operate digital products. The learning of this process we have packaged in a product called Stack Spots, which you have in exhibition at re:Invent this year. In 4 years, we have modernized more than 50% of our systems, which represents 70% of the services with the greatest competitive impact in the business. We also increased the number of deployments by 1,000%, while reducing the number of incidents in the impressive number of 98%. Of course, it was also key for us to modernize our data infrastructure, our data governance process, in order to bring agility and scale as the core of my strategy as Chief Data and Technology Officer. Leveraging the cloud infrastructure, we migrated the entire data lake to the cloud and created a data mesh platform while federating data governance across the organization. In 1 year, our data mesh has achieved the impressive number of 8 petabytes with thousands of producers and consumers in an incredible adoption velocity. But the design started at the business with the problem that we want to solve for our customers. And how did we do that? The first thing that was very important for us is to give to each one of the business units and Itaú has dozens of financial and non-financial services, to give each one of those business units the power to innovate with data and AI with autonomy. It was also important and key to keep the customer data integrated. Therefore, we took a very close look at the data architecture, and we architected the modernization to, as we modernize, to integrate the customer data, stitching it together across the organization, so we could understand its behavior across all the different services that we provided. Therefore, our conceptual design for our data strategy leveraged the data mesh architecture, creating a control layer that provides data governance, security, and privacy to connect producers and consumers, bring agility, eliminating most ETL integrations, since now we can ingest the data once and use it multiple times. The mesh control layer is also responsible to synchronize metadata across the environment and to integrate the data mesh with the Cloudera data lake, allowing the data mesh to have gravity and accelerate adoption. The control layer leverages AWS Glue and AWS Lake Formation for metadata management, governance, and security. On the left side of the diagram, you can see the producer's accounts, where we developed a toolkit to be deployed with the transaction application without impacting its performance, but enabling data integration in near real time if needed, and we use solutions like Glue Jobs, EMR, and Redshift for search. On the right side of the diagram, we designed the consumer accounts, where we created a process where, integrating the workflow for data security, each of the business areas could innovate and get analytics, descriptive analytics, and exploration out of the box using tools like Athena and QuickSight. With the data and the cloud infrastructure in place, it was also important to look and to have an agile environment and scalable computing to allow AI, ML experimentation, development, training, and deployment of models in an integrated fashion. In parallel to building the data mesh, we developed the Yara MLOps platform that delivers frameworks and tools to connect the entire life cycle of the data scientist. In the platform, we deliver solutions such as a global feature store, risk analysis tool, and deployment orchestration, as well as wide observability for your live operations in ML. As we build the MLOps platform and frameworks, we leverage SageMaker features intensively in the core of the design. We also use all the cloud components to stitch together the entire life cycle of AI, automating and allowing faster experimentation for AI solutions. The Yara MLOps platform makes our idea-to-value time to decrease significantly, allowing Itaú to increase our innovation pace with AI. And this innovation pace was challenging exponentially with the arrival of generative AI. To learn and deliver Gen AI solutions fast, we first leveraged the cloud, data, and MLOps infrastructures already built to create a sandbox environment for rapid experimentation, learning, and development. As we learn the patterns of the new technologies, we structure our architecture to build a scalable generative AI platform following the same cloud principle designs we used before. Therefore, we broke the design also into three main components. At the center, we created a control layer that allows us to register, automate, and reuse configurations and templates across different solutions. The data service to the left of the diagram is also built to allow the data mesh to integrate fast and flexible data and transform it as we need it. We bought Postgres vectors to start our vectors, and we'll keep innovating in this area with new data methods as new solutions are designed to improve the accuracy and the reduction of hallucinations in generative AI solutions. The third component is the application tenant itself. For each use case we implemented, we built a framework for prompt engineering and data curation, and we leveraged several components such as Hugging Face, SageMaker Jumpstart, and Amazon Bedrock. We are building a large model and provide a diagnostic platform so we can experiment and use the best of breed technology depend on the features that are required. But how did we decide what to do first? We created a lean governance process led by our emerging technology teams to not only catalog ideas, but to brainstorm them with the business, understand which data assets were key, and also prioritize and bring them for rapid development. So let's take a look into some of the innovation we are already harnessing. Our legal department has been using generative AI since the first half of this year to interpret and classify over 70,000 processes per month with 99% accuracy. Soon, we'll be applying the same features to read and interpret thousands of sentences per month. This brings not only efficiency organizationally, but also cost savings. In September, a new feature of generative AI was also released to our investment clients. With the new tool, the customers can understand how business events affect the investment portfolio, and generative AI is able to suggest different ways to address it. And we use generative AI not only to improve our business, but also to improve our technology footprint. One of the use cases that we are very proud is the uses of the power of generative AI to create a FinOps agent that helps to identify and implement right-sizing opportunities to optimize AWS resources. And of course, while we deploy those agents in our environments, we expect to see reduction in costs in the orders of 40% in some cases. With hundreds of cases and ideas in motion and a very flexible platform, we will continue to innovate and bring better products and experiences to our customers every day. Our goal is to keep evolving our platform to deliver the same client centricity that allow us to get us here 100 years later. Thank you.
It's so great to see how Ito is using data as a differentiator to create better experiences for customers and developers securely and responsibly. So far, we've explored how to build generative AI easily. We've talked about how customers want choice and how we're providing that choice with Amazon Bedrock and SageMaker Jumpstart. We've talked about choices for your data strategy and the importance of building with security and responsible AI in mind. And finally, there's no generative AI without the cloud. Making the most of Gen AI requires so much more than just tools alone. A successful strategy needs a strong foundation of time-tested infrastructure that can support the massive scale, power, security, and reliability of enterprise applications, along with the elasticity and the speed of the cloud. AWS offers a global cloud infrastructure that we believe you can depend on. Our cloud spans 102 availability zones across 32 geographic regions all over the world and over 450 points of presence. There's no other cloud provider that offers that many regions with multiple availability zones that are designed with the highest standards for resilience. And when it comes to the custom silicon, AWS has been investing with our partners in designing our own chips for more than a decade in order to offer a broad choice of high-performance, low-cost machine learning infrastructure options. We were the first to bring NVIDIA GPUs to the cloud more than 12 years ago, and companies have been using GPU-based instances to train models to become a lot faster. And today, those same customers are scaling those training workloads to more than 10,000 GPUs. We design our own AI chips, and as a result, customers want the most up-to-date solutions that help them gain that strategic edge by training models faster and at scale. The Inferentia 2 instances deliver up to 40% better inference price performance than any other comparable EC2 instances. Our Trainium 1 instances deliver up to 50% savings on training costs. And as you heard from Adam and Swami's keynote, the launch of our Trainium 2 chips, which is our second generation, purpose-built for high-performance training of foundation models. Trainium 2 will power the next generation of EC2 Ultra clusters to deliver up to 65 exaflops. I just like saying that. 65 exaflops of aggregate compute. Our customers are seeing impressive results as they train deep learning models and foundation models for their use with generative AI applications. Our commitment to you doesn't stop at the services we provide. Through our new AWS Generative AI Innovation Center, we are working deeply with customers and partners to accelerate success with tools like Bedrock and bringing our expert practitioners and data scientists and hundreds of industry use cases that can help you rapidly deploy Gen AI into production. So I'm very excited to introduce our final presenter, here to talk about their cloud architecture and how they've helped build a world-class Gen AI capability to disrupt their customer experience and improve developer productivity. Please welcome Dr. Jens Kohl, Head of Offboard Architecture from the BMW Group.
Thanks, Francesca, for the introduction. Hi, Vegas. Hi, everyone. My name is Jens Kohl. I'm Head of Offboard Architecture at the BMW. And as Offboard Architecture, we describe all the stuff happening inside the cloud. I'm really excited to be here, and I want to show you what we have been doing in the last weeks and months. Our passion at the BMW Group is to offer our customers premium experiences. I mean, you know when you drive off one of our vehicles, yeah? Ultimate driving machine, sheer driving pleasure. These are core to our DNA. For digital services, this is a little bit more different. We like to define our digital services like in several aspects. And one aspect which is really nice is that we try to make the driving experience even more enjoyable, even more delightful. And a good example for this is how we use Amazon Fire TV in the back seats of our i7. And another example is our intelligent personal assistant powered by Alexa, which offers you, the customer, to enjoy and use all of the offering we have inside our vehicles while focusing on the street, because you can control all the offering just by speech. Also, a really nice, or also like a guideline for premium services, that we want to offer personalized and intelligent experiences. And we do this by leveraging massive amounts of data, while of course ensuring data privacy. And we leverage these data in our cloud backends hosted on AWS. A good example, and one of my favorite services for this, is our route optimized for charging. And what it does is it offers you, depending on the charging state of your vehicle, your personal driving style, and some other things like available charging stations or the traffic, it offers you an optimized route. And I think those services I mentioned show clearly what makes for us the bar for a premium service. It's only possible to have a premium service if you have a great, seamless interplay between the vehicle and our cloud backends. Now, this might sound easy, but it's actually kind of a challenging task, which some of the figures of our connected vehicle backend can show you. Almost 20 years ago, we started introducing the first connected vehicle by providing a SIM card to each vehicle. And I'm proud to say that we came quite a long way since then. Nowadays, we have more than 20 million connected vehicles worldwide. Out of these 20 million vehicles, more than 6 million vehicles are fully upgradable over the air, which we do regularly. And this is the benchmark in the automotive industry. There's no other automotive OEM who has a higher connected or has a larger connected vehicle fleet than we do. All in all, those 20 million vehicles generate on a daily basis 12 billion requests a day. So just like now, in a second, already 140,000 requests already gone. These 12 billion requests are input for more than 1,000 microservices, and all in all, we generate a traffic of 110 terabyte a day. And this is what I'm really proud of. We achieve this while ensuring a 99.95% reliability. And with our upcoming Neue Klasse architecture, which will hit the market in 2 years, those figures will even triple. Now the question is, and the challenge and the task we are facing is, how do you continuously optimize the back end? How do you continuously deliver services that the customers are happy? And how can we continuously raise the bar regarding quality, sustainability, reliability, while at the same time managing the costs or even reducing them? And this is what my team of architects and developers are working together on a daily basis with our more than 450 DevOps teams worldwide. Let me show you how we tackle this. With such a complex backend, I think we all agree automation is clearly the only feasible way. So we set up a flywheel to drive this process and pursue this. We started the workflow by measuring using Trusted Advisor and AWS Config and their rules to check all our accounts against these rules. Based on these results, we try to gain insights and identify actionable items which could help us to know how can we optimize our accounts, how can we fix the issues. But the problem is, this is not really scalable. This is what all you guys know when you use a Trusted Advisor. You can do this for one account, but it's not capable of scaling up to the level of an organization we have. We try to automate a lot of these things, but clearly the problem is, if you look at the last 3 symbols, this is the bottleneck. Regardless what you do, it's difficult to automate gaining insights, identifying what you should do, or optimize accounts. Now, isn't there something which might help in that? Yes, we thought so as well. That's why we trained and built a generative AI to help us addressing the 2 issues I mentioned to you which hindered us in scaling. The first thing is, the bot we built is capable of explaining each finding to a user, including remedies. And the second thing, and this is the real big one for us, it also offers to implement code in Python or in Terraform to show or to give the user a solution, and if the user wants to, he implements this. Now, I've talked a lot about this. Let's see the bot in action. We deliberately chose an example of an underutilized EC2 instance because it happens everywhere in the world. It's quite easy to explain, but it's not really that easy to do. So let's see how the bot tackles this problem. We start by asking the bot, what is the status of our test account we set up? You see the bot checks the account, says, okay, these are some issues I detected, and then as a user I can say, hey, how can I resolve low utilization EC2? The bot then checks something and gives me already an explanation. You could do this, and the code in Python and in Terraform script, which I can directly copy and use to fix the problem. But now we went one step further and said, hey, if the bot already tells me what to do, why can't the bot do it by himself? And that's what you can see. I can, as a user, say, please fix this stuff and give me a callback so I know that the problem has been solved and I can work on other problems. Great, isn't it? All right, let's dive a little bit into the architecture of the bot. I mean, you can see it here is a principal architecture, of course. I'd like to mention 1 or 2 things before I delve into detail. First of all, it's a fully serverless managed architecture, which saves us a lot of cost. The bot should be ready when the teams need it, not the other way around. And the second thing is also something Francesca already mentioned today. By hosting or by using the bot on Amazon Bedrock in a hosted BMW account on AWS, we ensure that no data is transferred outside of our accounts during either training or inference of the model. And for us as BMW, data privacy is essential. So that was really a game changer for us. Now, let's go into a little bit more under the hood where the bot does the real action. As you can see here, these are the 4 tasks the bot has to do. And for each of those tasks, models perform differently. That's why we set up a multi-agent structure of the system so that we can use and we can use different models for the different tasks. And as Francesca and Ori already mentioned today, it's quite easy in Bedrock to exchange or to update the model. You just exchange an API. This also helps us to use always the latest models, and at the same time we avoid a vendor lock-in with a specific model. And since we're using fine-tuned models, we also save a lot of costs. And the second thing, you heard it quite often today, retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. We use it for two reasons. One of the reasons is the service landscape of ours and of Amazon is constantly evolving, constantly developing. So if we were to use like a normal foundation model, we'd have to retrain the model continuously. By using the RAG structure, we are capable of storing all the documentation of AWS, BMW best practices, as well as other documentation in an S3, on which S3 bucket then Kendra can check if there is a specific solution or remedy for an issue we're finding. And as said, the great thing is we not only automatically can grab the documentation, we can also add other documentation to this. Now, let me come to the benefits. First of all, the bot helps us to scale cloud governance really up to the level of an organization as the backend we have. Second, it supports our DevOps teams because it helps them to facilitate the governance workflow of their accounts. It helps them to focus on the business logic to do the things with which they really can differentiate from the competition. And since the bot is capable to explain all the findings, it helps us to facilitate continuous learning in our organization regarding the cloud. And the last advantage is the bot is easy to maintain since we use a lot of managed service and also easy to extend. We're currently working on extending the bot to check, for instance, CloudWatch logs or to check components directly itself. But this may be something for next year's reInvent. I'm coming back to the title of Francesca's presentation, From Hype to Impact. For us, the bot shows that GenAI can really live up to the hype it has, because using this bot already delivered huge amount and huge impact for us as an organization. Now, let me come to the end of my presentation by giving you an outlook. At the BMW Group, we have been using artificial intelligence for quite a long term. Today, I'm proud and honored to show you but one example where we are using generative AI in our company to improve our workflows. We are currently working on several use cases along the entire value chain of BMW to improve our workflows and to improve our products. So stay tuned for more things to come. Thank you, goodbye, servus, and enjoy reInvent.
Before Dr. Jens goes, I was thinking that if we get everyone to build on generative AI, we all get BMWs. Okay. I'm just teasing. Hey, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Jens, and the BMW Group for your continued innovation in the automotive industry and how the cloud has helped you scale and transform. So everyone, before we wrap, logistically, your questions might be, what's next? And how do I get started in my own organization? We believe that AWS has everything that you need to accelerate your generative AI journey, from foundation models, to services, to infrastructure, training, and even code samples. We also have amazing customers and partners building with Gen AI architectures, as you've heard from Ori, Moses, and also Jens. I'm excited to see what all of you will do to reimagine and transform your applications on AWS. Thank you for your time today. Enjoy reInvent 2023. Thank you.